All right, here we are at our final writing project, WP4. This is really a culmination of everything we've been doing all semester. You'll be kind of mixing together everything that you learned from WP1, WP2, and WP3 and adding in additional information and kind of creating a theory about what you think writing in your field is all about. So the learning objectives for this, I'd like you to cover on your own. This one is a little bit longer than the previous ones. It is 2,000 words, and you must include at least one mode other than written text. Although you are encouraged to make a form other than simply a traditional paper. If you do want to make a video, an animation, a podcast, website, infographic, whatever, that's fine too. Just make sure that you double check with me first before you go anything too out there. The completion draft for this is due December 1st. And then the final draft will be due on December 8th. You'll turn these in like usual, so I'm not going to go over that again. I do want to go over the basics here because this is combining a lot of things together to kind of make an overview here. So you're going to begin by reviewing what you learned from WP1, WP2, and WP3 and providing a clear summary of the main components of writing in your field, as well as how they are different from writing in other fields. So we have an article that you've read, we have an interview that you've done, and you have a comparison that you've made already done. So include that information in here as a kind of summary of what you know so far. Then add some additional information to it. Now this is going to come from you. It's up to you what you want to include. But some possible things that you might want to include are writing that you've done yourself for other classes, for your jobs, for internships. Any writing that you've done in your field would count here. So I do encourage you to use this and to point out how this demonstrates how writing is done in your field. Feel free to use multiple examples of this. Feel free to show how what you've done for your classes or jobs or wherever demonstrates how writing is done in your field. You're also welcome to use writing others have done in your field. I suggest using stuff that is professional or scholarly, but also some day-to-day writing. You might ask your interviewee if they're willing to send you some examples of the kind of writing that they do every day, emails, texts, memos, whatever kind of writing that they do every day. Ask if they might send you some of that so that you can include that as an example in your text as well. And then additional opinions from other professionals in the field. I do encourage you to do some additional short interviews with other people. Consider looking back at that list that you had from WP2 and interviewing the other people that you didn't already interview for that list. Ideally, you can interview them over the phone or in person, but if not, an email interview might be fine with a couple pointed questions that might help get at some important points that you're not 100% sure about. And then finally, you'll provide a summary or an overview of the tips that you would give to a new writer in your field. What makes writing in your field unique and different from other fields? What do new members of the field need to know about writing in the field? And try to be as specific and detailed in your overview as possible. So let's say that this is an academic field that you're looking at. If so, imagine what advice would you give to a first-year student who's just starting out to write in this field but wants to eventually become a professional in the field? If it's a job, imagine this is the information that you would give to an intern starting out in the field for the first time. What stuff would help them out? So the grading for this is relatively simple. So we have summaries of W1, 2, and 3, taking a look at connections between 1, 2, and 3, using specific examples from your projects from 1, 2, and 3 if possible. Collecting new examples and then synthesizing those examples into what you already know about W1, 2, and 3, and then explaining those examples. The last 4 grading criteria are the ones that have been on every writing project so far: organization, multimodal elements, manuscript preparation, and attention to assignment, I'm sorry. So the grading for WP4 works in exactly the same way as WP1, 2, and 3. If you have one not met, it cancels out one exceptional, and then whatever number you end up with in the exceptional column is the grade that you get. or if you have no exceptionals, whatever you have in the met column. So for example, if you had 8 exceptional, 2 met, and 2 not met, you would end up with a 6, which is a B+. Okay, so you are required to ask one question about WP4 like we have with all the other writing projects. So take a moment to go over to the questions forum and ask me a question about anything that's concerning you, anything that you want to know some more information about.